What we believe is possible has a lot to do with what's going to happen. The year before I was born, in the 1950s, a man named Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile. Prior to that happening, scientists believed that men would explode if they tried to go faster than 4 minutes. And Roger Bannister wasn't even the best runner of his era. And so when he beat the 4-minute mile, less than 50 days later, his record was beaten. And in the course of the next year, another 4 people went even faster. Now, the average human nowadays runs a mile in about 9 minutes. And the world record holder shaved 16 seconds off of Roger Bannister's record. My point in telling you about this is so that you understand that prior to Roger Bannister beating that record, nobody thought it could be done. And once he beat it, and they entertained the possibility and entertained the idea that it was possible to beat that record, another 4 people beat it in that same year. And so what we believe about ourselves is going to make a big difference in terms of what's going to happen. I'm not saying that you can just will yourself into believing something that you have difficulty believing, because that isn't going to work. If you give yourself an affirmation, if you give yourself a suggestion and you're telling yourself that I'm going to get a 9.9 in this next round that I'm in dressage class, that's not going to make it happen just because you will it, just because you think it. When we set goals for ourselves, they have to be in line of something that we can see as being possible for us. Because if your goal is too far out of whack with what you actually believe is possible, there's going to be a little voice inside your head and it's going to say, that's nonsense. That ain't going to happen. And so it doesn't matter how many times you give yourself that suggestion. If there's that little voice in your head saying it's not going to happen, well, then it isn't. When it comes to giving yourself suggestions, it has to be a stretch, something that you've not yet been able to do, but at the same time, not so far in advance of where you're at right now that you can actually believe, yeah, it's possible for me to do that. That's just something that you have to play with on your own and setting your goals and designing your beliefs. And in turn, you're going to design your life. And that's why all of this mental preparation and the work we can do to get ourselves ready to compete or to overcome a fear, all these things are much more likely to be done if we keep our suggestions, our affirmations in line with what we believe is possible. And so the wording that you use is really a key part of this. And you don't want to say something that you don't believe. You might say, I'm on my way to becoming the kind of rider that can do this or do that. And if you don't think you're quite there yet, just say, I'm getting better and better. I'm getting closer and closer to achieving this goal that I've had for a while. And I'm going to get it done in the very near future. Or I'm going to get it done and set a time limit of when you're going to get it done, to give yourself some leeway and not pin yourself down with a suggestion. I hope that was helpful. Tom O'Ryan, EquestrianHypnoCoach.com.